Hi, Faisal.
Kelly.
In talking about enlightenment, you know, it's such a big subject, and there's such a focus on it. And even there's conflict around even using the word enlightenment. It just it seems so unbalanced in different ways, and I'd love to hear your views about that.
Yeah. I'll talk about it with a story that,
Okay.
happened to me. Enlightenment, often by the definition, by the word, entails some kind of light, enlightenment, you know. And it doesn't have to be light with photons, it could be pure light, like the clear light of the void, or some people call it transparent luminosity, you know, it's a luminous transparency. So it's always associated with coming out from the dark and ignorance and issues and all of that, to the presence that's shining and luminous and all of those things, and serene and deep. But it has this connotation of enlightenment, something about it being related to realm of light and openness. And I remember when the journey to this clear light of the void, many times, sometimes I passed through darknesses, veils, but I always looked at them as veils or emptinesses or holes to go through, and some of them were darker than the others. And as I journey into them, the clear light always shines, comes through, luminous, transparent. And that was recognized, not just by me, by my teacher and others, as this is the enlightened nature, the Buddha nature. And I remember I used to teach in Europe, and one of my students, who was very advanced student, very mature, done a lot of work in her life and all of those things, once, you know, she said, you know, even though I seek it, but I am really not that interested in enlightenment. You know, I am doing spiritual work. I want to know, I want to evolve, I want to awaken, but somehow enlightenment, when I talk about it and I hear about it and all of those gurus and teachers about it, I don't feel that attracted to it. And in my heart, I said, like I had compassion. She really doesn't know what she is missing, you know. Wait till she get the experience, then she would love it, you know. So I said, yeah, okay, we wait and we see, you know, when it happens. And I was in Europe, and she was in Europe when she asked me that question. And on the way back that year, I was flying back to America, and as if my being grabbed, or my guidance grabbed that riddle, you know, and saying, why isn't she so drawn and pulled toward enlightenment? Is it father issue, mother issue, this issue, that issue? You know, I was trying to psychologize it, and then guidance says, drop it, drop that. I was in the airplane, far away from the human, you know, frequencies and neurosis. So it was clear sky, beautiful. And then as I questioned, like, yes, enlightenment and the clear light of the void often is also named as truth, you know. And I said, maybe she doesn't want to see the truth, you know. So is that her issue, that one of the blockages? Then being said, slow down this inquiry, you know, and just take a minute to look. Then question came, is there something equal to truth? Or is there even more sitting? Is there something higher than truth? Oh, interesting. Really interesting. When a question arises, I know the answer is coming, you know. So after getting over my own reactivity, like, you know, what am I doing? I'm sinning, I'm, you know, going into another ego trip and all of that. I said, no, is there something equal to truth? or even more than truth. Everybody advertises truth. Everybody seeks the truth. Everybody wants the truth. You know, it's the ultimate banana. But suppose that there may be something else. Allowing that possibility, even if it is sin, allowing it, I felt the descent of a space that has come before, that was so immense in darkness. It was darker than any darkness, darker than the black light, darker than the dark night of the soul, darker than, it was such immensity of the darkness that it wiped out what I called enlightenment. It wiped out the awareness of enlightenment, except very little. It wiped out the luminosity of the enlightened space. And it just gave me a little glimpse to recognize I am in the midst of the darkest darkness there is, you know. And that if I let go of my attachment to awareness and to awakening and to enlightenment and to whatever I call, maybe I'll be gate, which is fine. I can be gone. It's not a new thing. You know, my ego dissolve, but maybe this is even my enlightenment will be dissolved, will go. I said, okay, if this can take it, let it take it. Then it descended, complete, way beyond extinction, annihilation, all of that thing. It was just an immensity of a state that I could still have some minute consciousness in it, to feel it, to see how does it feel. It was the gentlest of gentleness that I ever felt. Oh. The most soothing of ever. Like if I ever wanted my mother's touch, it was this that I was longing for. Not the luminous, the radiance awakened me. I'm full and awake and light and all of those things. While this one erased me gently, but erased all my troubles, all my holdings, all my fears, all the things that stuck to my body, mind, soul, psyche, all of those things. It was the gentlest gentleness that I ever felt, and the most restful that I ever could reach. You know, even awakening was that restful, even though spacious and light and relaxing and you name it, everything that they talk about is true. But this felt like, I think Don Juan talks about, names it as the dark sea of awareness. It was something beyond awareness. It was just some awareness in it, but that depth, that gentleness, that darkness that you really don't care about even enlightenment or non-enlightenment, awakening or not awakening. That longing, that search, that all goes. You know? And it, of course, the same seeking goes in the radiance, in the enlightened field, but this one was not enlightened. It was in darkness. I called it endarkenment. I became endarkened instead of enlightened. And the only name I can find for it is the deep. It's depth. Immensity of depth. As if even the radiance of the absolute is passing through it. As if it's associated with the dark matter of the universe. Everything is passing through that field, that richness. Yet it was beyond anything that, creation or non-creation, none of that gentleness. Then I asked, what is this? It doesn't feel like the truth. It's not truth. So when I stayed with it and I descended in my heart and all of that, then came the word for it, the name. And the name was wisdom. This is wisdom. And wisdom is equivalent to truth. And this is something sometimes more important than truth. And it is the feminine aspect of God, of enlightenment. You know, enlightenment and endarkenment, yin and yang, feminine and masculine. And so much of the teaching has been emphasized on the masculine side, which is more like sunshine, radiance, light, enlightenment, awakening, all of those things. You know, it's a male frequency. The female has it, of course, but it's being advocated and emphasized and so much advertised by men about this, while the feminine was set aside. When you look at the yin and yang, you know, the circle in yin and yang, you see half of it is white with a black circle and the other half is black with a white circle. The feminine is black with radiance and the masculine is radiance with the black, with the deep. The combination of the two make the what they call non-dual, dual. The universe, the being, is made of two aspects, yin and yang, masculine, feminine, radiance, darkness, electromagnetic. The electro is the radiance and the magnet is the deep. The magnet is the feminine. And very little is being talked about, very little is being explored, and the flow that comes with it, you know, like wisdom, could wisdom surpass, as we say, truth, you know? Like if a man, if soldiers come looking to catch the children in a house and the mother is there, you know, and she goes and put them in a closet and the soldiers come and ask, do you have children? Would she be speaking the truth? Would she tell they are in the closet? She is ruled by a bigger force. That force allows her to say, no, there are no children in the house, to lie. Because there is wisdom, and the wisdom, part of it is the protection of life. If life is going to be damaged, truth is not that important. There is wisdom. So wisdom is something that I feel so not integrated. They talk about it, but they don't integrate it enough, you know, to balance the picture. I really felt that all my life, even with enlightenment, as if I was standing on one leg, I was imbalanced. And when this came, even though I had experiences of it, I remember I had once experience of this darkness, and I went to a very high Rinpoche, and I said, you know, I have this experience of this darkness, you know. He said, oh, don't go there, just go to the, you know, go through to the luminous. And I needed somebody to say, don't go, so I go. I went there, but I didn't integrate it. I didn't understand it. And that day, that night at the airplane, that quality descended. And I felt for the first time balance. The yin and yang in me got balanced. That the masculine and the feminine really need to be acknowledged in their fullness and their equality, and the universe is made of those two elements. And to know them, to integrate them, to honor their manifestations and emanations is a big piece that's barely touched upon. I remember Mother Teresa, in her book mentioned, you know, that she, for 50 years, the priest that she used to go to confession to, wrote a book about her. He said for 50 years, she used to come and confess and cry that for 50 years, she's been crying for Christ to show him his light. And all she can see is darkness.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Every time she called, he manifested, or Mary manifested, but not as the light. She needed the deep. She needed the darkness. But she felt she failed. She felt she was not answered. To this extent, we have ignorance of the dark, of the deep, of the gentleness. And we filled it up with all kinds of projections, and we advertised so much teaching about enlightenment that now spirituality is imbalanced. Whenever I hear so much about teaching about enlightenment and emphasis on awakening and all of those things, it feels it's missing the wisdom, the depth, the richness of that field that I think so important. And I think by seeing it, I think the feminine principle will be emerging more and more. The female will have her right position in existence. That she is not less, she is of equal magnitude. The universe is imbalanced without her. That felt such a balance in me. And when I went to Mecca visiting, I went to the Kaaba. The Kaaba is a cubit, black cubit. And the name Kaaba literally means the feminine, the beautiful female. Yeah, that's what it is, black with gold. And I remember it was this cubit where the Muslims go for pilgrimage. It's built on a vortex energy coming from the center of the earth. And I remember going there, I just wanted to know, what does it feel? What is there? What's it about? And I was going with attitude of this is religion and what's it about and all of those things. And when I entered the mosque and I looked at the Kaaba, the emanation that was coming from there brought me to my knees. For the first time, I felt pure emanation of the feminine essence, feminine presence, pure, brought me to my knees. I felt, as I said, I was incomplete till this emanation came. And it corrected the imbalance in my masculinity. I felt, wow, I needed that kind of mirroring in order for this one to know what is right and what is not. It was really an amazing experience. I felt when I realized this, the deep and the radiance and the combination of the two and the completion, I feel at last the riddle of spirituality cracked up about enlightenment for me. It's a field of utmost creativity made of electromagnetic field, radiance and deep, and all creation come from it and dissolve in it. And there are so many wisdom and teachings in it that we don't have. Spirituality don't have it. It doesn't belong to spirituality. It's beyond spirituality. Way beyond spirituality. Spirituality is only one branch in the tree of that grand knowledge, So I felt really like relieved, balanced. I don't know that knowledge. I know little about it, but I felt my struggle and evolution in the spiritual journey got resolved when this riddle got cracked. When the non-dual became, when we call the non-dual became dual, that it is dual. It's male and female, yin and yang, all of that. And I felt, wow, this is the crowning of my spiritual work. At last, I rested. Something in me was not happy with enlightenment. It needed the endarkenment. And the endarkenment corrected something. Then on the way that I was coming at the airplane, resolving all of those things, the young Karmapa was in Washington State, and I was feeling the connection and all of that. I met the old Karmapa and to get the black hat ceremony and all of those things. And
the 14th Karmapa.
Sorry?
The 14th Karmapa?
The 14th Karmapa. Is it 16th? The 16th Karmapa.
16th.
Yeah, the 16th Karmapa, because this one is the 17th. That was in 73. I received that empowerment and blessing of the black hat. And I was thinking of the young one and trying to feel the connection and feel the blessing of all of that. Then I land in home, and I go to a Tibetan store that sells all kind of nice Tibetan gifts and all of that thing. And behind the cashier, there was always a box and it's made of glass and shelves, and he has very beautiful objects, very nice objects, precious objects. And I always, when I talk to him, I look at them and I see the objects, you know, and they are usually very nice and expensive and all of those things, but I like them. I admire them. Then this time I go, I look, and in that box there was a crown. I said, you know, I never seen this crown. He said, it's been there since I opened the store 20 years ago.
Oh.
I've been looking, I couldn't see it. I wasn't ready inside to see it. And this time, reaching this, as if the harmony or this was the agent to enable me to see it. So I asked if I can buy it. He said, yes, it's a crown that's been by Rinpoche's given, and then, you know, he had it. And he knew that I am, you know, in the path. He knows me for many years. So I was able to buy it, and that was like the crowning, actually the crowning of this realization. And I thought it was a good omen, because it's also a black hat. But it's a black hat with gold and diamonds and jewels in it. So it combines the deep and the radiance. You know? So I thought for this one, I'll do like just 10 minutes of putting on this crown. Do allow the crown to emanate whatever it needs to emanate as deep honoring of the human, the glory of the human, the glory of the kingdom we live in, the glory of the male and the female, and how we complete each other. Physically, spiritually, psychically, all in all, the universe is made of the two of equal magnitude and balance. So this is my
That would be an honor.
Yes, really, this is my heart gift to whoever gonna watch this. May they receive the blessings, may they receive the emanations, you know. And I don't know, it's just a great honor for me too. So the deep and the radiance come together. Hopefully Armageddon, since started the beginning of time, may it reach its end between Adam and Eve, between yin and yang, and all of this misunderstanding, spiritual confusions, and so much going on in the spiritual realm that it has become a field, as much as it has glory and beauty and enlightenment, it also has so much narcissism. It's really wonderful to spiritualize humanity, to awaken us to our potential of light and richness and a kingdom that has no beginning and end. It's really wonderful. That's the task of the spiritual work. But then spirituality has lost so much of its humanness and became elitist or specialist, or so many people spinning their spiritual wheels and quicksands, you know, playing with their thoughts and popping their thoughts like bubbles. You know, they say this thought and they pop it and they reach radiance. They say, oh, you know, in every thought there is enlightenment. It's never ending. I mean, I can't complain about it, about what is happening. So spirituality also need to be humanized. Not only humanity need to be spiritualized, but spirituality itself need to be humanized. That we are the Alpha, we are the Omega, as the Christ has said. There is nothing in the human being that's missing. The Alpha, the Omega, and the glory of what we are and the kingdom we live in. To that I bow. I really bow. It's such a glory.
Thank you for that, Faisal. Faisal, it would be great if you said more about that experience and how others may relate to it. Like, for instance, what came up for me was awareness in deep sleep, for instance, and the question of are they coexisting, or does radiance come out of the dark, or coexist, you know? So if you have anything to say about that, it would be wonderful.
Yes. I mean, I think the way to those experiences, there's a variety. There are a variety of ways of reaching, maybe through like meditation, or through being in the airplane, or transmission, or deep sleep. You know, deep sleep, sometimes you go in in the deep itself, you have no awareness. Then awareness arises in the deep sleep, and you recognize you are in the silence, in the deep, and all of those things. I think there are a variety of approaching it, you know, and each approach could be a path, could be a spiritual lineage, you know, and there are lineages based on these experiences. If you follow this and this and this and this, you land in the deep, or you land in the radiance, you know. And I think they are useful for different people. Some people can get it this way, some people get it that way, you know. So to be open to all the ways we can reach it. It's always here. You know, in Zen they say if you even choose one syllable or one mantra and repeat it, it'll take you home. You know, single focus, single-mindedness, attention can take you home. So to me that means it's always here. But we are designed differently. And according to this design, some people reach it this way, some people reach it that way. Some people, like I know so much of like the 5, 6, 7 on the Enneagram, when they go through the bubbles of their perception, of their mind, and they zoom in that bubble and they see it and they pop it, they get to that experience, whether the deep or the radiance. I know the 2, 3, 4, sometimes when they reach the depth of their feelings and emotionality and the beauty or richness or anguish or whatever, and release it, they reach the depth of that experience. I know the 1, 8, 9 has to do with embodiment, and when they really settle down in deep, in body, in being, they reach that experience. So there are many doors to that experience, depending on the design of the body, the psyche, the mind. So the more you know about yourself, the more you can adjust your system to check it, you know. I think 2, 3, 4, I mean 5, 6, 7 might get it in the head faster, and 2, 3, 4 in the heart faster, and 1, 8, 9 in the belly faster, because those centers are more powerful, you know, in those fixations. So that's one, how to reach it, and does it work? It's the same any way you reach it. Carlos Castaneda, like Don Juan has to blast him with the drugs to break his barriers in order to see the dark sea of awareness, the deep, you know. So this is about how to reach it and where does it manifest and how does it manifest. The other thing that I think we need to be cautious about is which came first, you know. Is the radiance get born from the deep, or does the deep is born from the radiance? Experientially, sometimes I feel I am the radiance, and the radiance dissolve and become the deep. And sometimes I am in the deep, and the deep awakens into the radiance. I take that not as the nature of the existence, I take it as the state I am in. My system, maybe I am closer that time to the nervous system and the charge in the nervous system, so I am more in the radiance. So when I go in the radius and relax fully in the radius, then the discharge happen, then the deep manifest. And sometimes I am in the deep, and the deep begin to shine with luminosity. This perception of this way and that way, I think depending on the individual, their system, how they are, the reality is that the deep and the radiance are co-emerged. That's why the completion of this experience, that's why when I put the hat, it combines the radiance and the deep. So it becomes deep radiance or luminous darkness or dark luminosity. When that is perceived as if they are happening simultaneously. But sometimes I am closer to this frequency, so I start with it, then I reach the other, side of it, or sometimes, from the deep to the radiance. This is individual experience. The danger of that is some people take their individual experience to be the rule or to be the ultimate teaching, So I think for the female, it's much easier to reach the deep. So then we might develop a teaching saying the deep is deeper than the radiance. And men, they reach the radiance. So they say, no, the radiance is more important or more profound than the deep. Reality is not like that. Objective reality is not like that. Day and night are coexisting. Radiance and deep are coexisting. Electromagnetic field, this giant field that Einstein talked about, is coexisting at the same time. It's a field of utmost creativity, and to avoid falling into one trap or another, one dogma or another, depending on one's own preferences or belief systems. And that's why so many in the spiritual teachings fall into that prejudice, as I said before, when we talk about prejudice of enlightenment, and how we made the absolute as the only thing, the deep radiance or the radiant deep as the ultimate thing. And in doing this, in having this prejudice, the result is that we negated the human individuality. That there is something that exists, no matter how enlightened you get, will never go away. The individuated human soul, the individuated entity that we call the point of light, that exists. It will never go away. Even the Dalai Lama said that, they talk about, the Hindus say that in moksha or enlightenment, the individuation goes away. And that when Buddha got his enlightenment, there was nothing but enlightenment, but Buddha nature. He said that's not true. Buddha still exists. His entity exists up until now. And enlightenment, his entity does not dissolve. So this point of light, this being of light, does not dissolve in enlightenment, does not dissolve in the field. Because we are in the field anyway. Now, at this moment, we are in the field. Even our ego doesn't dissolve in the field. Our ego now is preserved by the field. It's just we get distracted by ego self or individuated self from knowing the cosmic self.
We are in the field, and the field is within us.
Yes, it's all of these ideas are ideas. The fish are in the ocean. Sometimes the fish forget about the ocean. Sometimes the fish forget about the fish. But they are not separable. These ideas, are concepts, spiritual concepts. They need to be released, and then you discover everything is here. Christ said it. It's so profound, so touching. He was talking about himself as us. We are in his image. I am the Alpha. I am the Omega. I am from the ego to enlightenment. All of it. There's nothing missing. The body, the psyche, the ego, the mess, the glory. At this moment, all of it is here. All of it is here. It's just our perception get caught in this bubble or that bubble and all of those things. So to awaken to that might help humanize spirituality. because sometimes the spiritualists take one concept and glorify it and make it so believable and dogmatic, and then they miss the point, literally. So yes, they coexist. Yin and yang coexist. Male and female are inseparable. We complement each other. We complete each other. And all the levels, all the levels.